everyone, my name is Catrina and I am a first year pre-biomedical engineering student here at UBC Vancouver. Today I'm going to talk about my transition to university and how everything has gone. So first to prepare, I took 3 courses over the summer, and these were offered through the UBC Academic Essentials. I took a Readiness for University Reading and Writing, a Readiness for University Math, and a University Live Well course. I found that these courses offered various information and great tips for how to learn better at university. They offered study tips for midterms and different resources that we could receive when we were here at UBC Vancouver. About 3 weeks before you move into residence, they email you with your room designation. And I was placed in Vanier, and luckily I got a double room with my best friend since kindergarten. On move-in day, you are given either a specific time, or because I was in Jumpstart, I was given a period of time that I could come in and move in. So that gave time for my family and I to come here, take our time with moving in, and get situated in my room before they had to leave. Move-in day was a very exciting process. There were so many upper years helping, and the excitement, you could feel it in every single person there. The first thing you did was receive your keys, and then you got a cart and was allowed to move into your specific room. Once you moved in, you kind of had the rest of the day free. So my family and I went out for lunch, and then we came back and just organized a bit more before they left. So Jumpstart. I attended Jumpstart, and I've got to say I would suggest it for anyone who's coming to UBC Vancouver. Jumpstart is a week-long orientation that takes place prior to class starting. So I moved in on the 29th, and classes didn't start till the 6th or 7th. So I had an entire week to move in, get situated, meet as many people as I could in my program and on my floor and building, and just form those connections that are really, really important when it comes to university. Within Jumpstart, you're put in an orientation group that can be anywhere from about 20 to 30 people who are in your faculty. So in mine, I had 26 people, all in engineering, and it was super great because in my group alone, there were 5 of us that were in the pre-biomedical engineering stream. In Jumpstart, you have icebreakers with your group. You have a set professor who speaks with you guys on a daily basis and either does like lectures or gives you tips. My professor for the first 2 days went over how to read a class breakdown, how to find the things that could be on your midterms, and he really tried to prepare us for the mindset that we needed to enter into university, which I found super, super helpful. In the afternoons, there are various activities such as an ice cream social. We had faculty advising for the engineering students. It was super great. My leaders were super, super helpful, and they would answer any questions we had. Okay, so residence life and food. This is a major change for everybody who moves in. You probably haven't lived with 25 other people on the same floor sharing 3 bathrooms. You probably haven't had to schedule when you were having breakfast, lunch, and dinner and deciding each meal by yourself. So everyone is in the same boat. But I think the main thing that a lot of people worry about is living with a roommate or getting homesick if they're in a single. Living with roommates isn't that bad if you think about how do you want to be treated in your space and to do that yourself. So in the bathroom, you probably don't want water all over the sinks and all over the floor. So what do? If you make a mess, you clean it up. And if you do that, your roommates will probably do the same thing. Okay, so eating and food at residence. This is something personally that was a little bit of a change for me just because I usually ate the same thing every day for breakfast, lunch, and then dinner was whatever my parents made. So having to decide or look at a food plan was a little hard because I am a little indecisive. And they do have an app that shows you what's on the meal for the day. So for me, I would have breakfast in my room, I would go to residence for lunch, or I would get it to go and eat in a library. For dinner, it usually is a little bit later than I'd want it to be, but I sit with my new friend group and we all eat dinner together, which is a super nice ritual to just relax your nerves before you go back to studying. Course load and studying habits in university does change when you come here. The course speed or pace at which you go is a lot quicker at high school, but you don't seem to notice how fast you're going unless you get a little behind. So I personally would not say to worry about the pace at which we go. For example, in chemistry, we covered almost all of the grade 11 curriculum within 2 weeks of class, and we're tested on it right then. When it comes to the courses themselves, there is a little bit of a balancing act that you have to do. You may be taking 5 to 7 courses in engineering, and so you have to decide which courses for you are going to be a bit more difficult, so which ones will you have to put more time into, and then other ones that you can kind of just go to class, do the work, and you're done with that, so that you can spend the more time on the subjects that are a little harder. When you come to UBC, this is a big transition, so I would suggest just to remain calm and reach out if you do need help. There's tons of resources here, like the nurse in residence, we have a counselor in residence, and you have all these new friends to lean on. So if you do need help, just ask them. If you have any questions about transitioning to university, just leave your comments below and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Bye everyone.